Hi everyone, Jose here from Thunkable. Stay tuned if you want to hear how MongoDB Atlas enables us to handle millions of users in our no-code, low-code platform.
You're listening to the MongoDB Podcast. MongoDB Podcast? Exploring the world of software development, data, and all things MongoDB. And now your hosts, Michael Lin and Nick Raboy.
All right, so we have Jose and Wei here from Thunkable. But before we get into the topic of today, Wei, why don't we start with you? Do you mind giving us an introduction on who you are and what you do?
Hi, everyone. My name is Wei. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Thunkable. So Thunkable is, in a nutshell, is kind of a local no-code platform. So whenever you come to like Thunkable platform, you can just go on our website IDE. You can just drag and drop your UI element on the website, and then you can, like, within a couple of minutes, you can build a functional web app, mobile app at the same time.
So, I mean, what were you doing before Thunkable? Or what do you like to do in your free time? I want to learn a little about you in general. Let's go there.
I was before Thunkable, I was actually a student at MIT. So Thunkable was kind of my first job out there. So during my free time, I love to looking for deals. Like with deal, like if like you happen in like San Francisco or California, like come talk to me. I can find you the best deal like in San Francisco. Yeah.
And I think we should definitely revisit this, because if you went straight from MIT to Thunkable, this is a good transition story. But before we even get there, Jose, I wanna lead into you and what you're up to.
Right, sure. So I'm Jose Dominguez. I'm part of the engineering team at Thunkable, and I do have a little bit more experience on Wei. I worked in multiple places, including MIT. That's where we met actually. But yeah, I worked in a few startups and bigger companies as a developer before joining Thunkable.
To tell you a funny part, like I met Jose almost like 10 years ago. Jose was actually my mentor at MIT. We often like love to get like lunch together during our free time.
What a great story. I love that. So you guys met at MIT. Someone had an idea about a low-code, no-code solution. Was that you, Wei?
Yeah, so Jose and I were part of the research lab. Like we were doing like this called like the project called MIT App Inventor. So it's similar to whatever we are doing right now. At that time, like the platform grew to like millions of users. Me and my co-founder at that time, Arun, we saw an opportunity out there. We can commercialize this product. We can like add the support of like building iOS app and also split it out web app at the same time too. So that's why like at the end of 2015, me and my co-founder decided to start Thunkable. And then shortly after that, like after I finished writing my master thesis, like we participated in the Bay Area Y Combinator program for like 3 months, and then like we get some money from the big VC. So that's how we get funded and how we get started.
Fantastic. And so we're talking about Thunkable. You can get more information if you're listening and maybe at your desktop. You can go to thunkable.com, check out the platform. So Jose, maybe give us some more information about what Thunkable is. You mentioned low code, no code. You mentioned drag and drop, and I love the ability to create a cross-platform application. Tell me a little bit more about who would be interested in leveraging this.
Yeah. So as Wei said, we were already working on a very similar project, MIT App Inventor, which is still alive and well, and they still have a lot of users. And in those times, our main focus was the education sector. It was more focused towards learning to program, that sort of thing. But Thunkable, and Wei, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Thunkable was more of an idea of anybody can use this thing. So think about makers, think about hobbyists, think about designers, for instance, designers that want to put together prototypes very quickly. We give them a lot of functionality that other platforms might not have. So, for instance, they can work with their own data. We have this functionality called data sources. You can connect to your spreadsheet or Airtable, whatever you want, and you can grab actual data, and you can have your prototype show the actual data. So as you can see, pretty much anyone can is a target. Pretty much anyone can use a platform. If you have an idea for a business or something like that, you can very easily validate it very quickly, and then you can actually build the real thing with it. We have plenty of examples of that in our community.
Fantastic. And before we move on to the tech stack and understanding how you're leveraging MongoDB, can you tell me a little bit about your experience with the MongoDB for Startups program?
I can talk about it. So I think back in the old day, when we started, we are pretty small. We only have 2 engineers, 1 business people. So come to my attention is MongoDB also have a startup program. Basically, it can help us navigate how to put our stack together, how to scale our database and all the stuff. We also actually get some free credit, which can help us last for almost 2 years when we get started. So it was actually a really sweet program. And also they provide some technical detail, a technical implementation. They give us some consulting. So basically they give us an engineer, can look at our code, can look at our query and how to optimize it and how to improve our database performance.
So this might be a good time to transition into your actual tech stack and how you're achieving that database performance. So, I mean, I realized that the people who are using Thunkable, they're using kind of a drag and drop or low code, no code kind of way to do things. But to actually create your application, you have to have created code for Thunkable itself. So what does that stack look like?
Our stack is mostly JavaScript. So we use React, and we use Node.js on backend. We have a bunch of services, a couple of different Express.js and Fastify services, and we also use React Native. So it's very much JavaScript from the front to the backend to the apps. We obviously have to do some native iOS and Android, and we also support web. So if you have a Thunkable project, you can export it as either an iOS app ready for the store, or as an Android app ready for the Play Store as well, or as a web app. In terms of connecting to Mongo is our main database, and we use Redis as well. But we use Mongo and we use Mongoose because it makes our lives easier, basically.
Am I correct in assuming it's write once and deploy to multiple platforms? Is there a single application that is now deployable to multiple to iOS, for example, or Android?
So basically, the idea is you can come to our platform, right? You can just write once. You can just export as an Android app as an APK, or we can enable you to publish to the Google App Store directly from our platform. And also, we can give you a short URL, which is functional as a web app. So basically, you can build once, you can export free platform, Android, iOS, and web.
Yeah. So one of those things from our research times is that we try to make things as easy as possible. So as a Thunkable developer, you don't have to have a Mac to write an iOS app. You don't have to install Android Studio. You don't have to install Xcode. You don't have to install anything. You basically use the IDE, and we have, as Wei said, we have a button that says publish to a store. And as long as you have with Apple, everything is a little bit complicated always. So as long as you have your certificates and so forth, you can just publish directly.
So how does that work in terms of the developer? I mean, in order for me to publish to the Apple App Store, I need to have a developer account. I guess there's some type of registering that with the Thunkable platform.
So I think there are 2 parts of it. Before we even publishing, I think there's an idea of you can download your app and then testing on your device. So basically at that part, Thunkable managing it. So basically like the user, we're using our Thunkable certificate and then test the app. So basically the idea is like you can build it on the web, and if we send you a URL, and then you open the URL, and then you can install the app on your phone. You can actually like touch and feel about the app running on your iPhone. So after that, if you feel it's ready, it's good to go, you can like give us like Apple developer credential. You can give us a certificate, the profile. We will manage it. We will on our back end. We're using a Mac machine, basically build the app and send it to the Apple, and then you will see on your test flight.
Awesome. I want to come back to the technical stack in just a minute, but I want to take a step back. So people are using this no code, low code solution. What kind of apps are they building exactly?
So everything that you can imagine. We have examples of many things. We are actually currently working on some use cases because our website doesn't have a lot of use cases in there. But in the last couple of months, we can tell you about this company called Street TT, which is basically a street table tennis, and it's a full company. The two people developed the whole thing with Thunkable in 3 months, and they are basically a company that organizes table tennis tournaments. And they started locally, but they are now basically teaming up with the United Kingdom's table tennis federation and local government authorities, and they are organizing events all over the place. This came out of the isolation and not being able to, this period that we're all living, not being able to just get out freely and do practice sports and stuff like that. So they saw this as an opportunity to actually build a business around it, and they've been very successful. And it took them 3 months to build the whole thing. So it's that is just one example.
Wow, what a fantastic example. Can you talk a little bit about the features of Atlas that you're leveraging to launch this platform, and maybe give us an idea about the scale? How many users are you supporting with the Thunkable platform?
We are supporting more than like 2 million users. Together, those users create about like more than 5 million projects right now. So since the pandemic, we are seeing like exponential growth, especially like the people generating content, like storing stuff in MongoDB. Yeah, so it's an exciting time.
Outstanding. And I imagine this is all in MongoDB Atlas. And can you give us an idea about the size of the MongoDB installation or the instance sizes that you're leveraging in Atlas?
We are using currently a M30 instance. Yeah, the database we are talking about is several hundred gigabytes.
And have you given thought to leveraging auto scalability to handle those peak times, peak loads?
Yes, we are actually utilizing like the database as a storage side auto scale. It has been really helpful for us. It's like whenever we run out of space, like I think it's we're setting it at like 15 to 20%. We just auto scale to the next level, so we don't have to deal with it. It automatically doing on the background. We are actually like thinking about doing like the cluster auto scaling too, but like something we need to constantly looking at is the cost size, because if you're using a pretty big size M30 instance, the next size is like going to be double. But I think like whenever we are seeing like the demand for it, we definitely want to turn it on.
So in terms of scaling and I guess overall demand for Thunkable, would that demand come in the form of users developing apps with Thunkable, or is there kind of after the app has been published, does it use Thunkable as, say, a data layer or any kind of service layer as well?
I think there are two folds. I think like whatever, like, so example like we haven't seen is like people using like a lot of like storing assets. Whatever the app you build, they're gonna package in some of the stuff you store in like MongoDB. So I think like as Jose mentioned about at one point is like we provide a capability is basically you connect to a spreadsheet right? And then like you're using a Google spreadsheet or Microsoft spreadsheet and all the stuff, like those are connecting to there directly. But we find out that like sometimes the connection to those third-party servers sometimes are slow, not as fast as expecting. So we kind of like turn into have a different model. Basically, it's like, hey, like we enable user to basically store data in a Mongo so they can have a better performance because it's within our Thunkable's control.
Oh, that's great. And are you comfortable talking a little bit about the revenue model? How do people pay for the Thunkable platform, and how are you making money?
So basically right now is we have the freemium model. So basically it's like we enable everybody to go on our platform to create app. It's free. You can like download your APK, you can publish to the App Store. I think the business model we are doing is right now there's some service we are charging. If you pay for it, you pay a subscription, $25 a month or $250 a year. You can get an extra storage size. You can have a priority like whenever you're building your Android app or iOS app. You can also have the capability of like the premium feature, like the web app, like you can monetize using like AdMod. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting feature coming out for the premium, the pro offering.
And as a part of the freemium model for the free instances, is there Thunkable branding or anything to indicate that this was a Thunkable created app?
Yeah. So the restriction we have is like whenever the app launching, so there's a logo. Basically, it's a Thunkable logo. It's a splash screen. So in the technical term, yeah, that's the thing we have there.
So in terms of MongoDB, are you using MongoDB or have you experienced anything with MongoDB that might be non-typical for developers?
Yeah, so we've had some issues because of the nature of our data. We as we said before, it's an IDE, so you expect your IDE to autosave, right? So we autosave every second or every 3 seconds, depending on what you're doing, and that results in us not only saving a lot of data, not only saving very frequently, but also saving a lot of data. And we actually got into trouble with the operations log, with the app log. It turned out that we are writing so much, and our app log was too small, and we only had like an upload window of about 1 hour, which basically means the uplog is basically the way that the secondaries catch up with the primary. And if we were doing some heavy operation like creating an index, the secondary would go offline for over an hour, and then it would just not be able to, when it came back up, it just couldn't basically restart by itself, so it would keep crashing. So we had a couple of instances in which a node would keep crashing all the time, and we didn't know where it was coming from. And it turned out that our uplog was way too small. So the way we solved it was just by basically increasing the hard drive, so we can have a much larger uplog. That is the short-term solution, and the long-term solution will be we actually have to refactor the way that we are actually storing stuff.
So was the resolution to this simply increasing the amount of disk space, or did you have to have technical services get involved to address the issue?
I think that's the lucky part about being in the Mongo Star program. It's like we get hooked up with our manager. We get connected to our manager. The manager introduce us, give us some free flex consulting. Basically, we're connecting to our engineer. Like he walk us through about 2 hours. So basically, we identify the issues and then like we put a band-aid fix on it. As for right now, but I think one of the big thing like for us is like we are file engineering supporting millions of user, and also all these app also have a user too. So we don't even like we don't have enough bandwidth to take care of like the day-to-day MongoDB operation. The good thing about is like we can have an expert helping us and solving those issues. That's amazing.
Fantastic. And you're talking about the customer success manager that is assigned to you, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. And I did want to ask you a question about the impact on your MongoDB infrastructure from the downstream applications that are created with Thunkable. Am I correct in assuming that are you maintaining metrics on application usage, or what data are you storing as a result of when a user creates an application?
We don't really like track of it. Basically, it's like we rely on third party to just look it up, and then for downstream, we don't like do a significant part in Mongo right now. Yeah.
Terrific. So I'm wondering if as a growing startup, you're leveraging MongoDB, and it sounds like you've had phenomenal uptake. You're supporting millions of users, and the story about street table tennis, I love it. I'm just wondering, are you in search of talented resources? Are you hiring?
We are definitely hiring. Like, I think we currently have 3 roles opening right now. So one is a customer success manager, and then we are also looking for a full stack engineering and DevOps engineering too. So if you are like excited about this local no-code space, if you want to like enable like non-engineering to create functional mobile app, come join us.
Fantastic. And the specific skill sets that you're looking for?
For full stack, I think we are looking for like the standard one: React, Express.js, GraphQL, Node, React Native, Expo, Kubernetes, iOS, and Android. And also, it's like don't feel like you're not qualified. We are looking for like people with any level of experience. If you don't have it, if you are a fast learner, if you love this local no-code space, we would definitely love to have you interview you, even have you join on board.
I'm glad you mentioned that second part, because for that full stack engineer position, you listed off a lot of skills right there. But no, that's great to hear. Jose, Wei, is there any kind of thing that we missed? Any kind of words of wisdom or advice that you want to give the listeners of this podcast about Thunkable or creating applications in general?
Yeah, I mean, I just to go back to the hiring thing, because it's the thing that is most important for us right now. It's 5 of us, millions of users. We really need your help. Please come and join us as soon as possible. The more skills you have, the better, but you don't have to know absolutely everything that Wei said, because that was a really long list.
I can talk about it. I think share a little bit story with Jose. As when we started, like, I'm not an expert in JavaScript. I think over the years, like, we pick up gradually. I think we are like really familiar with it. I think it's like along the way, I think like we are really fortunate to have friends like Jose, like work with us. We also have like partners at like MongoDB can help us further advance our platform. I think the key message is like, if there's something like you don't know, like seek it out for help. Also, if you like something translate to the company mission, is like if you have an idea, you want to make it happen, right? If you have an app idea, of course you come like try out Thunkable. That's like the best local platform out there, right? If you're looking for database, like NoSQL database, Mongo is the one you're looking for.
Awesome. And then Wei or Jose, both of you, are you on social media at all? Do you have any kind of social media links that you'd like to share with the listeners of this episode if they wanted to follow up?
Yeah, sure. We are on Twitter and all those things. If you go to @Thunkable, you will probably find us. Yeah, my Twitter handle is a bit weird, so it would need a spelling. Right. So
we'll include it in the show notes.
Wei, Jose, thank you so much for spending time with us and teaching us a little bit about Thunkable.
Thank you for having us.
It's a great to talk to you guys.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. Have a question or a suggestion for the show? Visit us in the MongoDB community forums at community.mongodb.com.